So first, LEGO League Explore teams do a variety of things, and I'll go into more detail about each of these things in the next few slides. But first, they explore a season challenge. So every season, there's a theme relating to a real-world problem, and over the course of the season, kids explore the topic, and then they kind of brainstorm solutions and ideas for it. They also practice core values, the first core values. And then they also build a team model from Legos and We Do 2.0. They create a team poster that tells their team's story, and then they present at festivals. So this season's challenge theme is Playmakers. So the entire point of the season challenge is to find new and fun ways to keep people active and moving. So the specific challenge is to build an obstacle course with fun activities to get your heart rate up. And this is what you'll be building out of the Legos and We Do 2.0. The 2021 season, because of the ongoing pandemic, we expect that our festival will be remote, probably over a platform like Zoom. And the expected festival date is in May. We're currently in the process of finalizing some details with our current season's plan, but we'll be releasing a lot more details soon. Right now, we still have a very incomplete picture of what the season or what our festivals are going to be like, but we'll have that worked out soon. So registration and materials. So the cost of registration for the whole team is $99, and that's the maximum team size is 6 students. So what you get with your registration is 1 Explore set. And because of the pandemic, FIRST has given teams the option this year to order an additional Explore set for an additional $35. And I'll be going into more detail about each of these items in the next few slides as well. You also get a team meeting guide and engineering notebooks for each team member, and then digital copies of both the team meeting guide and the engineering notebooks in the Thinkscape portal. And those digital copies are going to be really important this year because of we expect that there'll be a lot more remote collaboration, and having those interactive engineering notebooks will really make it possible for teams to collaborate on that. There's also the reusable Redo 2.0 kit that does not come with registration. It's an additional $205, which is actually a discount for compared to what you get on the regular market. But again, it's reusable, so it can be used for future seasons as well. And again, I'll have another slide going over what exactly is in the We Do 2.0 core education set. So the Explore set. So the Explore set has a total of 779 Lego pieces. And there's a lot in there. So there's the basic building blocks in just about every color. So you'll have like your 2x2s, your 2x4s, and all kinds of building blocks like that. And they come in all colors. You also get some decorational pieces like trees and other like items in nature. You get prototyping pieces, a lot of which have to do with the season challenge. So for example, there's an elliptical design in there. There's like a basketball hoop, and there's like weights. So things that have to do with the Playmakers theme. You also get multiple minifigures in the kit. There's only instructions for 1, but there's parts for making as many minifigures as you want. Like I think there's like at least like 5 or 6 minifigures there. There's also a lot of technical gears and other pieces like that. And so the total like outside of this kit, like if you were to try and buy those same kits, they would be about $166. So it's coming for a pretty sharp discount with the Explore set. The other thing that's in the Explore set is the Inspire model. So the Inspire model is specific to this year's challenge. So it's supposed to be as like inspiration for your team model that you'll build later on in the season. So this year it has 2 components. It has the heart game and then the treadmill. And you can see the heart game is on the left over here, And then you have the treadmill over here with the crank. And you can see these videos over here. You can see how the model works. So this is the combined build. So this is when you put the heart game and the treadmill together. And if you turn the crank on the treadmill, it causes the heart game's flag to move up. And then you can see here's how it looks like on the other side. And if you look at those gears over there, that's like a place where you can connect your Redo 2.0 motor and have it operate the mechanism like that. So this is the overview of the Redo 2.0 kit. So the Redo 2.0 is a robot-based learning system for hands-on STEM learning. The core set contains, you can see the core set over here, and you can also see a sample robot built over here. And this is what the tablet software looks like for the programming. So it comes with a storage bin, sorting trays and labels, a smart hub, and a medium motor, motion sensor, tilt sensor, and building elements for 2 students. It has both the desktop and tablet software, and that includes a Redo 2.0 curriculum, which covers a variety of life, physical, earth, and space science topics, as well as engineering. It has a lot of great resources for learning how to program the Redo 2.0. There is a accompanying e-learning plan for teachers and coaches to follow along so they can get familiar with the platform before they instruct their students in how to use it. And the reason why it's called robot-based learning system is because it's not like necessarily like Lego Mindstorms where you can create like a autonomous robot out of it, but it also has the motor, sensors, and computing, and a computer, a smart hub. So it introduces students to a lot of robotics principles. So the engineering notebook and team meeting guide are really useful resources for guiding you through this season. So the engineering notebook walks the team through 12 guided sessions. So each student gets an engineering notebook, and it'll have like the instructions for each activity and the guided sessions for the students, as well as a space for them to document their thoughts or their ideas and their brainstorming. So it's a really great resource because it really takes students through each step of the process. And then the team meeting guide directs coaches on how to support those activities. So it'll have introduction activities for teams that incorporate the first core values. And I'll be talking about the first core values later, but in essence, they're what we really want students to take away from this experience. It also has guidance on managing team and materials. And what's really useful about the engineering notebook and team meeting guide for this year is that it's actually set up in cohorts, which they made the change last year, but now that cohort system that it lays out is going to be really useful if you're working in person, because it kind of allows you to minimize the amount of students who are at each activity. And it'll give you like activities to do while one group is working on the heart game, the other group is doing something else with the Redo 2.0 and robots and the Legos. So, and yes, there is going to be both print versions and digital versions of these documents. The digital versions, again, are going to be really useful this year if you're collaborating remotely, which we expect many teams to do this year. And there's also an interactive engineering notebook. So not only is it digital, but students can also collaborate online on the same engineering notebook through that. So it's a really great resource to have. And it's in your ThinkScape portals. And if you register, they'll give you deep information on how to register for that or how to like access your ThinkScape. So what do kids do in FLL Explore? They do a lot of things. So let's start with the first core values. Like I said before, this is kind of what we really want students to get out of this entire experience. We want them to learn these important values that we think are important parts of teamwork and important skills important soft skills to have for STEM. So the first one is discovery. We explore new ideas, new skills and ideas. So that's kind of why there's the entire explore part of FLL Explore. So we really want teams to explore the season challenge and learn new ideas about the problem facing one of the world problems that we're like approaching this year, which is the playmakers, like getting people active. So we really want students to explore that. Innovation, we use creativity and persistence to solve problems. So we expect that innovation is going to be a big part of this season because of the fact that because of the challenges that the pandemic has kind of introduced. So teams are going to have to be really innovative in the ways they get work done this year. Because in-person work may be limited or you might not be able to do it at all, we're all kind of like having to brainstorm new ways to work and get all this done remotely. But we do have resources and we'll be going over that later. Impact, we apply what we learn to improve our world. So we really want kids to understand that the motivation behind this project is to help other people and help the world through these new ideas that they come up with. Inclusion, we respect each other and embrace our differences. Of course, we always want students to practice inclusion and learn how to embrace each other's differences and work towards total inclusion. Teamwork, we are stronger when we work together. That is going to be important again this year because of the way that a lot of teams will have to operate by like dividing up materials and working on different parts. It's going to take a lot of teamwork to come back together and collaborate on it. And everyone kind of has to do their part this year in order for the total team build to be finished. And last but not least, fun. We enjoy and celebrate what we do. Again, this is first Explore is meant to be non-competitive for a reason. It's not meant, it's meant to really be about having fun. We want students to have a positive experience that's, without too much pressure, where they can explore STEM concepts and they can explore robotics and they can have fun doing it. And that's why it's meant, the end results don't matter so much as the experience and whether or not the kids enjoyed what they did over the year. So let's talk about the season challenge and our teams explore. So again, because there's no assessment in FLL Explore, we don't really care about exactly how you do your exploration. It's really more of a kind of informal thing. We really want you to just make sure that your students like spend time exploring the topic and learning about this season challenge. So yeah, it can be as simple as internet research, looking up articles on the internet and reading them about reading about physical activities and how to keep people fit. It could be interesting YouTube videos. Yeah, do any type of exploration that your students would be interested in doing. If you want to take it to the next level, you could even meet and interview experts and mentors, and that could mean a lot of things. You could interview, say, a doctor and ask them about physical health and fitness, or you could talk to an athletic trainer or a sports coach. You could also talk to even just have the kids just talk to their parents and just pick their brains about the topic. We really want students to walk away from this knowing that there's a lot of places that they can go to get information and that there's a lot of ways for them to learn new things. And we really want to make learning and exploring exciting and fun for students. So that's why we have also like these virtual field trips. So FIRST has a compiled list of virtual field trips. It's in a resource that I'll be sharing with you at the end. It's called the FLL Guidance for COVID Interruptions. And those virtual field trips, some of them pertain to this year's challenge. So you can definitely use that as part of your exploration for the season challenge. For example, I know there's one link from like NFL Play 60. So that's definitely relevant for this year's challenge. But there's also a lot of field trips that aren't related to this year. There's some that I remember from National Geographic where you can explore like cool places across the globe. So we feel free to use those field trips to just kind of, as a fun activity and for your, oops, sorry, my lamp went out. Anyway, you can use those field trips as just like a fun and interesting activity for students to do. And yeah, just because they think it's an interesting topic. You can also use those field trips too for the season challenge. Like I said, some of them are relevant, but exploration could even mean watching a movie. So there's definitely a lot of ways to do it, and we encourage you to have fun doing it. Okay, now we get into the team model. So one of the end results of the entire FLL Explorer experience is the team model. So the team model is something that students will build out of the Lego and We Do 2.0. Again, it's an obstacle course this year, so it's supposed to have activities that'll get students' heart rates up, and it's supposed to showcase solutions to the season challenge. So if your students have innovative ideas on ways to keep people active, you want to make sure that's reflected in your team model and just kind of like show some of your ideas on how people can stay fit. It also has to include the Inspire model. It can be the heart game and the treadmill, you can have it as the combined build or as separate components, but just make sure they're both incorporated in there. It should also incorporate at least one motorized component programmed by We Do 2.0. So yeah, those are like, you wanted to have it connected with the motor and have it controlled so it moves. So that could be like the heart game or the treadmill, or it could be some other component. It's up to you. The one requirement is that it must be made entirely of Lego elements. So no glue, paint, or other art supplies. It should just be built from Legos. And yeah, no, you're technically not supposed to use Sharpies or anything like that either. For this season, because of the pandemic and because of the fact that some teams aren't going to be able to work in person, we've actually decided that the team model this year does not need to be fully assembled together for the 2021 season. So you can show up to the festival with the team with like the obstacle course in like 6 different parts, because the Explore set comes with 6 base plates. So you can give 1 base plate, say, to each student, and then they can build on their own, and then just present them separately during the reviewing sessions. And that's fine for this year. We understand that having to have it fully assembled together would force teams to meet in person when they might not be able to. And here are some pictures of some team models from the Boomtown season. So this was about building a city and kind of tackling some of the issues that face our cities today. So you can see how they use We Do 2.0 to motorize the contraption, and they incorporate an Inspire model, which is in this version, the crane. After creating the team model, teams will then create a team poster. So the team poster is supposed to tell your team's journey. So it's really where you want the students' creativity to shine. This team poster, again, it's not so the quality does not matter so much as like the fact that the students had fun and got to really show off their creativity and their ideas in the poster. You really want this to be about the kids, and your job as a coach will mainly be to help them and support them in making their ideas a reality. But again, like you're not going to be assessed on this, so it's mainly about the experience and the fact that the kids get the chance to express themselves. So some things to include in your poster are an introduction of team and team members. You also want to show your team's solutions to the season challenge and explain them. You also want to show how your team came up with those ideas and how they follow the engineering design process in the as they created those solutions. So the engineering design process is explore, create, test, and share. So you want to go, you want to kind of tell the story of how you explored the challenge and how you then brainstormed and came up with ideas and solutions, how you then implemented them, and then through iteration improved them by testing them, and then how you shared your work with other people. And then the last component that you really want to hit in your team poster is how your team used first core values during the season. And for this year, again, because of the fact that many teams might not be able to work in person, we're going to accept digital team posters. So we're not exactly sure what that will look like yet, but an example of a digital team poster could be a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to be pretty flexible with that, but there'll be more details released soon, again, about that. And here are some team posters from past years. So you can see that there's a lot of pictures usually, and also that you can also see like a lot of construction paper. So that's what it usually is made with. But again, this year it's going to be a little bit different because this might be digital. But even if it is digital, you kind of want to get the same idea. You want to show pictures. You want to show your team's process and your the first core values. And like, as you can see, some people printed things out. Some people wrote it by hand or used hand-drawn art. So again, it's really just about the kids getting to create something of their own and using their creativity. And then finally, teams present their work at festivals. So they present their team motto and their team poster and explain their team journey to reviewers, and reviewers are going to ask them questions and then provide them feedback. It's not like judging like it is in first LEGO League Challenge or in the other first programs. Again, it's just meant to be helpful feedback and constructive criticism, but like very low stakes, and it's meant to really give kids a chance to share what they did over the course of their experience, and also celebrate all the work that they did. And it's really meant to give them a chance to showcase their work. And every team will get an award that will highlight something that the reviewers really felt stood out about the team's work. So here's some of the awards that you could get. You could get the coding award. So this is for a team that did a good job explaining how their code works and showed good communication skills in the process of explaining their code. You have the challenge solution award. So this is for teams that had creative and innovative challenge solutions and did a good job, again, articulating how they came up with that and articulating the engineering design process. The core values award. So this is for teams who reviewers felt like did a great job displaying the first core values, teamwork, innovation, and fun, and all of that. And then there's the team poster award. So this is, again, this recognizes teams who had great team poster designs and did a great job communicating their team story. Then there's the team model award for teams that had exceptional team models and really did a great job designing and had great work designing, building their team model. And then there's more awards coming soon. So we're still just coming up with some more awards of our own to add on top of these. So once we finalize those designs, we'll release more information about them. So working safely in the COVID-19 era. So if you are able, well, first I'll go through these FIRST resources. So this is where FIRST has released some resources for COVID-19 this year. A great one is FLL guidance for COVID interruptions. So this is a very comprehensive resource that goes through a lot of aspects of working this year. It'll go through like working remotely, working in person, go through PPE and other precautions. It basically has everything you need to know to work this year. So it's definitely a great place to start. There's also the LEGO hygiene guide. So the hygiene guide is basically directions on how to disinfect your LEGO pieces and your We Do 2.0 components. And then finally, there's the community best practice videos. So these are some great videos that are produced by FLL Explore coaches across the country. And basically, it's them sharing their experiences and working the season and how they've changed their work style to make sure it was safe during this pandemic. So if you have a chance, I would definitely check those out. They're definitely great resources. And especially the community best practice videos, it's really helpful to see how coaches have really put it together. So if you are able to work in person, we definitely say that you should follow all PPE, social distancing, and ventilation guidelines. So PPE, wearing face masks, and if you have access to them, high quality face masks will definitely go a long ways towards keeping your team safe. Also, if you can, social distancing. So if you have room, setting up maybe workstations on opposite sides of the room where so that cohorts don't mix, or maybe even spacing all students out so they're kind of working at a distance. It's definitely going to make in-person collaboration a little less close and a little less about close collaboration, but it'll also go a long ways towards protecting against the virus this year. And then also finally, ventilation. So if you can, keeping a window open or a door open could go a long ways towards flushing out any virus that's there. Also, because the festival isn't until May, as the weather gets better, if you can work outside, that would also be a good precaution to take. Another thing is that will help you work in person this year is splitting your team up into cohorts. So the team meeting guide will actually help you with this because it's split in, because it's laid out so that 4 teams that are in 2 cohorts. So it actually shows you activities to do for each session for each cohort. So, and it'll tell you which activities should be done whole team and which activities should be done in cohorts. So that's a great resource. Again, it kind of takes a lot of thinking off your plate because it's already been laid out and thought out. You can, and you, in the cohort system, you also end up building, the kids will also end up, the 2 cohorts will end up building the elements at different times and sessions. So one session, one team might be working on the Explore, the Inspire model, and then the other teams might be working on another We Do 2.0 activity. And then they'll, in a later week, they'll flip-flop. And that's how it kind of lays out the season. Another precaution that'll be helpful is dividing materials. So, there you go. So you can divide and distribute the Lego elements for each session so that each kid has their own set of Legos for what they're working on that week. And by doing that, you can minimize the amount of contact between Lego pieces and kids and preventing the spread of the virus through sharing Lego pieces. And each time you transfer parts, you can disinfect them. And again, the Lego hygiene guide has directions on how to do that. Another great tip that other coaches have shared in like the community best practices is to use bins to organize so that you can know which kids, you can keep each kid's Legos all in one place and then disinfect them in that bin. And then it'll make organization a lot easier. Also, another useful thing for this year is that the Explore set has instructions to build the heart game. So the Inspire set is the Inspire model in 3 parts. So if you do that, that'll actually guide you through how to divide the parts to make that happen by distributing it. And then you would just have to either have everyone come together to put those pieces together or have one person put it together. If you're working remotely, again, dividing and delivering materials will be really helpful. You can give each kid enough Lego pieces to work on whatever they're working on. And then if you decide to do any transferring Lego pieces between kids or transferring like the We Do 2.0 kit from one student's place to another student's place so that they can work on it, definitely disinfect them beforehand, and maybe also give it like a few days in between so that it has time to air out and any virus that might be there will die off. But also because of the fact that we're not requiring the team model to be built all together in one and assembled all together, and you don't actually have to transfer any pieces if you don't want to. Once you just distribute the Lego pieces to each kid, they can each work on their own project and then check in with other students over, say, Zoom and virtual video conferencing. And then that way they build their own parts of the obstacle courses. And when it comes time to present, they each present what they worked on so that they don't ever have to come together and put it together. That's another way that you can avoid contact. And these are some helpful tools and platforms that FIRST has laid out. It's in the FLL guidance for COVID interruptions document. So for remote collaboration, it gives Google Classroom, Zoom, or Discord. Those are all great tools to organize your assignments as well as work over video conference. And another way you can help video conferencing is you can also split up roles. So you could give one student the job of like working with building with the WeDo 2.0, whereas other kids who don't have access to WeDo 2.0 could do programming or documentation work. That's another way you can kind of get things done through video conferencing. Some other tools that might be useful are Google Drawings. Jamboard is a great option if you're doing collaborative brainstorming. It gives you the opportunity to use like Post-it notes, digital Post-it notes to collaborate. There's Kahoot is also a great tool to use to kind of keep things fun and for the students. We actually use Kahoot too. Kids tend to really like Kahoot, but yeah, if you use Kahoot quizzes, that could be another great way to keep kids together and also do some team building. Do we have any questions? There's some things in the chat. Okay. Also, again, the presentation is available. The link is in the chat. If you want, we can post it again. I'll post it again, just so you guys have it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Again, there'll be a lot more details coming out soon about what the festival experience will look like exactly, how that will work, and if there are any other additional requirements for FLL Explore this year. We'll find out soon. Another thing that we don't know yet is the cost for festivals this year. Usually there's a charge for each festival, and I think in years past we used $50, but it'll be less than that this year. But it's still to be determined. Also, for resources on working in person and remotely, keep an eye out on FIRST's website and FIRST's blogs. They often release new things. So just keep an eye out for that. There's a new guidance being released every day. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough season, but I think we're going to see a lot of teams come up with innovative ways to make great team models this year and great team posters. And we're really excited for this season.
Thank you.
Thank you.